So these are the Project 001 gloves that I recently got, and these are racing gloves, as you can see, and I think these are some of the most unique gloves that you can buy right now. And so I'll tell y'all some of the good things and some of the bad things with it. So firstly, I really like the design, you know, the purple, the colors, the design on the grip for the gloves. It's very unique because you can see it's basically the initials of the company, Project Revolution. I do think that the resolution can be a bit higher, but I think they're already on par with, let's say here, the -273s. So they look honestly quite the same here. The other thing I want to point out is the fitting on these, especially here, and the gloves itself in general is very good. So if I compare to say the -273s, looking at the fitting, it looks quite similar, right? But if you look at this part here compared to the Project Revolutions, as you can see, on the -273 gloves, there's like a space between it. It folds in on itself, which for me is not ideal because in my experience, these have blistered my hands quite a lot. So that's one of the key things that I want to point out on these gloves. And similarly, they quite feel the same as these, the OMP KS2Rs, which I'll fit on. And as you can see, they both have that same characteristic that I quite like. Another thing I want to show is the cuffs here, which I think are actually not as tight as I'd expect, since comparing to the other gloves, let's say the -273s, it looks quite tight. But in fact, it actually helps a lot, especially with keeping the gloves on your hands, especially while driving. So that's another thing that I really like about these gloves. And these grips as well. These grips are very grippy. You can see. And while I grab my wheel here, let's say this sim wheel, feels very good on the hands. And it really won't like rip off or get off your fingers, you know. And yeah, those are the two good things, or the three good things I really like about these gloves. And then some of the bad things, but these aren't really like really bad things that I'd say that like would be a turnoff, more of like just a point of improvement. So I've been using these actually for 2 days of testing. So a whole day testing in what could arguably be one of the weirdest weathers right now, especially in the Philippines. So it's been through dry, then wet, then dry, then wet, then dry, then wet, and then dry, then wet again. So it's been through a lot. And honestly, if you look here, the dirt doesn't really stick well, which is really good. But one of the things I noticed is here, the outside stitching is starting to break off a bit, which is it's not really too bad, but it's quite noticeable, to be honest. And yeah, that's one of the things. Then the other thing is this seam right here. Me personally, I don't really like gloves with this seam on it, as honestly it gives me like blisters every single time. So for example here, the -273 gloves actually also have this. And from my experience, this seam line here has always given me blisters no matter what. And the current main gloves I'm using, the OMP KS2Rs, as you can see, they don't have that seam. So maybe for future reference, who knows, these seamless areas around the, I believe this they call this the thumb seam. Hopefully maybe you can integrate it next time, guys. So yeah, and that's actually just all of the cons that I found. Overall, these gloves are really solid. I think they're just second to the OMP KS2Rs that I have. And as you can see, they have really served me well, actually, here. And yeah, I'm excited to use these for my future races. These are really like, they just blew all of my expectations for new gloves, seriously. It's just that good. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one.